Come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Okay, guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Let's talk about Too Close to Home, episode 4 of season 2. Now, we start right off at the diner with Bonnie and Octavia's going to take some food over to Mama with her big ass, old Jolene. And the sheriff actually comes in, and he basically wants to talk to Bonnie about the situation back at Jolene's house, and that they need to clean that nasty motherfucker up or else. And Bonnie was being a little resistant, but he was like, I will evict her ass. She can't live like that. We're not going to have it, because if she catches on fire, she'll burn that whole trailer park down with all that nasty shit over there. So they're like, okay. They're like, we'll send some people down from the jail to help. It's like, okay. But anyway, there's some, the first lady has actually sent the news and the media there to Happy about Annie. So they're swarming. They're everywhere. They come up in a diner and they're asking the sheriff, do you know Annie Mae so-and-so? He told them, oh yeah, send them to the next county over. Told them a lie, send them to the next county over, send them on a goose chase. After that, we got while the sheriff's still talking to Bonnie, he actually suggests Frankie to actually speak to Jolene about the fact that she may be a hoarder and that kind of thing, and tells Bonnie, she's a therapist. She's actually a therapist. And Bonnie said, well, obviously she's not a good one. She's living in a trailer park. And I said, bitch, you just read yourself. You just read yourself. And he was like, stop all that. That doesn't mean anything. You read yourself. Later on, and it sparked my interest. I said, so is this bitch on witness protection or something? And I believe that's what's going on, because later on we see Sheriff Mobley goes over and he talks to Frankie, and he makes mention. He said, don't let, she said, I'm all of that's behind me. He's like, no, don't let one person stop you from what it is that your talents are, that you can be using to help people, that kind of thing. And he's like, that's all behind you now. So I'm thinking this bitch is on like witness protection or something, or had to leave because of some shit that popped off. So that's very interesting. I'm definitely interested to see more than that. Then she got him together. He gonna tell you that you look very nice in that purple dress. And she told him, how's your wife doing? Should I give her a call? He's like, oh, no, she's fine. And so she will say, good. And no more mention about my clothes, okay? You cut that shit out. I said, oh, all right, Annie. Got his ass right on together. But anyway, she actually is the accountant for a meal or something around there with the part she's playing. But yeah, she's on witness protection from something. I can't wait to get more of her story. Okay, so let's see. What else happened? Brody brings his ass up in there. Him and Bonnie have an exchange. Bonnie just angry and told Brody, just leave me alone. I don't want you. I don't want no dealings with you. I want you to take my advice and get out of my face and stay out of my face. And she's like, my sister was at your house last night. He's like, yeah, so what? Ain't nothing happened. She gonna say, well, I don't really care. Anything can happen that you want to happen, because I don't want you, and I don't care. She's lying, child. But he's like, whatever, all right, I'm going to grant you your wishes. Later on, he's on his way back to the house to try to fix the tractor. He sees Annie and Yuri out there. Yuri is the Secret Service man, and he's begging, like literally begging Annie to take the president's call. And he told her, listen, ma'am. And she's like, don't call me ma'am. Call me Annie. My name is Annie Mae. You were sitting in the front seat while he was on top of me in the back seat. Like, come on, Yuri, seriously? He's like, ma'am, listen, I'm telling you, all you need to do, he put the phone down, said, take his call. take his call, deal with him until he loses interest. He will eventually lose interest in you, and he'll just let you go. He'll just drop you. He said, trust me, if you don't, he's going to bring all hell down on you. He does not take defeat well. And I'm like, well, that sounds, and she's like, well, look, isn't this all hell? Drop it down on me. I'm like, girl, now you know good and well, if this Secret Service motherfucker's telling you shit can get worse, it can get worse real quick. Just go on and take the call, but she wouldn't. And when Brody saw Yuri talking to her, Brody interceded and was like, get in the car. And was getting all smart. And Yuri was looking at him like, I don't want to have to fuck this pretty boy up, but I will. But I really don't want to have to fuck him up. Go on, son. I think I like Yuri. Yuri got that little hint of danger to him. And he just, I like that Yuri, honey. He looked like he'll fuck you clean up real quick. You be trying to figure out what did happen, honey, and be on your neck. So, he's scary looking. Anyway. Okay, so Octavia take her ass on over there. Give Mama her food. Her and Mama have a little exchange back and forth. And Mama tell her, she said, bring the food on in here. Why ain't Bonnie bringing it? She said, she just told me, asked me to bring it, and I said I would do it. I just want to be nice to you. She said, for what? What you want? She said, just come on and bring it on there. She said, well, no, I want to come in, honey. I hand it to you right here from the window. She said, oh, aren't you something? I said, she's a mess. She's a mess. She acts just like she ain't living in filth. Don't nobody want to come up in there with you nasty. But anyway, she told her if she pay her, she'll tell her what she want to know about her sister-in-law. She said, if you pay me, I'll tell you whenever I catch her, if you pay me. So they were going back and forth, barter between $20, and she finally got her for $15. I said, that woman is a damn mess. In the midst of Octavia going in there, M and Regina was fucking in the back seat of the van. Fucking down, middle of the day. Just in there, just rocking it out. That's the day is just as trifling. And seeing Octavia, he get it all out and he slides off the back of the van and goes over and act like he working on a car. So when Octavia came around, she said, oh, your pants is unbuttoned. He's sitting there and she looking at him like, yeah. She was checking him out and they had a little exchange back and forth. She asked him about her sister-in-law. Do you ever see her sliding around and stuff at nighttime? And he's like, no, not at all. And then she's like, boy, where your shoes at? He said, oh, they in the inside, this, that, and the other. He changed the subject. I said, you looking good, Octavia. She will say, ooh, don't you be flirting at me, honey. And gonna pop her little butt with her stinking fat self. I said, she just is messy. And went on, switch it on off. He said, oh, if I see your sister-in-law, I'll tell you. She go switch it on off, child. He went right back up in the van and pulled his dick back out and jumped right back up on her. I said, that's a hot mess. And she's just sitting up there. She's all paranoid. She has no idea that the damn husband is in town. He back in town. And you could tell from the conversation that M was having with Octavia, he's scared of her husband. Oh, punk bitch. I said, oh, this is too much. Just too much. And the one thing that was funny that Octavia and Mama got to talk about when she said, Miss Jolene, this, that, the other. She was saying, what do you call? Don't be calling me Miss. I ain't that much older than you. She gonna say, well, I mean, she gonna say, I'm only 44. She gonna say, well, wait a minute, ain't Bonnie 32? She said, mind your business. I said, oh, a hot mess. So Brody and Annie is going on over to the house. Why see, Brody's starting to piss me off because Brody plays both ends against the middle as well. He flirts at Annie and he fucks with Bonnie. So I don't know, Brody, you making me not like you too much. You cute, but you're doing the whole too much. So Brody and Annie end up talking. Annie ends up telling Brody about the little rapist and how he's now looking at Rebel. And she get to crying and he get to hugging her. And he's like, okay, well, that motherfucker's getting ready to disappear. I'm ready to go kill him and make him disappear. And she begs him, no. They end up calling Sheriff Mobley. And don't nobody respect Sheriff Mobley. So he called him, get over here to the farm. Get over here now. I said, oh, who the fuck talks to the sheriff like that? So they went ahead and the sheriff came over and they talked about it. Then they basically said he served his time. He's like, he needs to disappear. If you don't do something about it, I'm going to make him disappear. If he doesn't stay away from Rebel, I'm going to fuck him up. And the sheriff's like, well, don't, you can't be saying that to me, Brody. He's like, did you hear what I said? I'm going to make him disappear. Period. He's a rapist and I'm going to make him disappear. And Sheriff Mobley sort of said, well, his family has influence. And that's what Annie was like, oh, so since he has money, he can walk around and rape everybody and it's just okay. And she said, but he said, we're watching him. We're watching everybody. He said, well, make sure you're watching all the poor girls because it's the poor girls that get raped, not the rich ones. He's down here raping the poor girls. I said, oh my. Anyway, Valerie and Victor are still at the house over at Dr. Allen's house on some fuck shit. Valerie's trying to tell Victor that Dax doesn't have the power to do what you're saying that he did, and this, that, thing, and the other. And he still said, please just get to my contacts. This, that, thing, and the other in the phone. He's like, I ain't trying to explain all that to you and all this. So he went ahead. He finally got into his contacts and he called the senator and he couldn't really get through to really talk to him. He's like, I know I'm not supposed to be calling you on this line. Please, you got to help me. This, that, thing, and the other. And their conversation was getting cut. But the first lady was aware of the conversation like that. She found out about the fact that they had called. And she ended up talking to Dax. Dax was like, I'm finally getting out of here. Just got a seat on place. She's like, no, you can't leave. You have to stay there. I need you there. I need you to get close to Annie so I can bring the bitch down. And she's like, you're the only one that I know that could get close to her. And he's like, I'm out of here. So they start going back and forth. They're having this exchange back and forth. And he basically let her, he said, this is really small of you. She is a nobody from a damn trailer park. And you're taking all your time out to try to ruin her. That's real small of you. She said, oh, and aren't you the one that's all heartbroken and running around getting folks deported and carrying on because you got a cheating ass boyfriend that ain't shit? So, really, we two peas in the pod, ain't we? I said, oh, they just insult each other, honey. I said, oh, my. Then she ends up going in there first. They have an exchange with the president and tells that motherfucker, so how you and your, what she said, something about you and your blue pills. And he said, how did your girl, she said, yeah, speaking of those blue pills, how did those work for you, honey? He will say, oh, she rather enjoyed them. And she said, but your heart didn't. I said, oh, she's a mean bitch, honey. Mean. Anyway. So last thing that we actually see is we go to the bar and you got Shelby and Rick are at the bar and all these reporters are actually there, all these media folks. And Rick and Shelby trying to work the crowd. So, oh yeah, I know Annie. Yeah, you buy me some drinks and I'll tell you what you want to know, honey. And all of this. And then don't Shelby run right into that John. Remember the guy that Annie stayed at night with that worked for the Gossip magazine that turned her over the first time? Shelby got there to be sitting down with him. I said, Lord have mercy. She'll say, open up a tab on your credit card, bitch. I said, she's a mess. She's so messy. There was a girl sitting there when she first went to sit with him. She would say, move, bitch. I said, she is a mess. Okay, in the whole episode, everybody's looking for JB. We ain't seen JB since Dax beat his ass and threw him out. Well, JB's on a new mission. He wants to get the gays. He's upset now because he got beat up by and turned down by Dax. So now he's after the gays. I said, oh, here we go. And he went and got the guys and told them, yeah, one of them was staying over at the hotel and one of them was over at Dr. Allen's house. We'll burn that motherfucking house down to get that motherfucker. And that other one, we just need to lure him out. You ain't got to sleep with him. Just lure him out into the open so we can get him and show him what happens to his kind. I said, but ain't nobody clocking. Why you so mad? Because he wouldn't give you no dick in your jaw. That's what the problem is. I said, old JB, you damn freak. But anyway, that's basically all that's really going on. There's so much that goes on with this program. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, leave it down there in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next week. All right, bye.